Hello everybody and welcome to Susie B Living's Moonphase gardening series. I'm going to talk you through this next week that is coming up. It is going to be Monday the 15th of January to Sunday the 21st of January. We're already getting through January, aren't we? So this week we're expecting quite cold weather here in Lincolnshire, and so I have got my little heater on in my big greenhouse because I've got quite a lot of seedlings and troughs of plants and veg in there, and I don't want to lose them. So if it is going to be really cold with you, just remember to maybe get some fleece, hard to say, throw some fleece over anything that you've got. That will also help if you don't want to put a heater in there, or you can do paraffin heating, or you can do even those little tea lights are really good as heaters if you put a pot on top of them, just so that the frost isn't going to get in and your plants are not going to freeze. So I'm going to take you through this week. Let's start with Monday the 15th of January. So Monday the 15th of January is Flowers Day on the Moonphase calendar, and I'm going to start to talk about actual ornamental flowers as well as edible flowers, because you might be doing Moonphase gardening for ornamental plants. And I don't want to leave that out. So let's talk about that. So for me, I am not going to be sowing anything on Monday because I haven't got anything to sow. However, if you do want to sow anything, you can sow some sweet peas. If you had a look at my video that I will either load it before this or load it afterwards, and actually thinking about it, I'll probably load the video after this because this needs to go out tonight. I show you how I pre-germinate my sweet pea seeds. I do them exactly the same as I did with my pepper and my chili seeds as well. And then they're really, really easy. And actually I've got something in front of me here so they're in my little containers like this. And then when I pot them up into compost, they go into compost like that. So it's very, very simple. The other flowers you can be looking at sowing at this time of the year are things like Iceland poppies, the really, really delicate ones. They're beautiful. Cobaeus scandens. Now, that again, I would pre-germinate because they take quite a long time to germinate those seeds, and they also have quite a hard shell on them. Some people scarify them, others soak them, but I would be pre-germinating them on my kitchen towel as well. So Cobaea comes either in a purple variety or a white variety. The other thing that you can also sow is Cleome. That's good to sow at this time of year. You can also do antirrhinums if you want to. Antirrhinums take a long time to go from seed to flower. It can sometimes take up to 20 weeks, so you can still get some. They're usually sown in the autumn, but you can still sow them now in January. The other thing that you can also start sowing are hardy annuals, so things like Cerinthe. That's a really good one to sow. Calendula is really good to sow, and Nigella is really good to sow at this time of year in January. Okay, so that's the sowing. The other thing that you could do if you wanted to is do root cuttings. I don't know whether you know how to do root cuttings, but root cuttings, I might do a video and show you how to do root cuttings, because you can do root cuttings on phlox. You can do them on delphiniums, and you can do them on oriental poppies at this time of year as well. So if you want to propagate and get more plants, then you can do that. Transplanting. Any forced bulbs that you had inside, like narcissi or hyacinths, or anything that you forced to have like at Christmas, and they're finished, you can actually plant them in the garden if you want to transplant them out into the garden. And what I would also do is that if you are going to transplant them out into the garden, give them a high potash feed as well, and that will help any of the nutrients to go back into the bulb. Don't cut off the green leaves and even the stem of whatever the flower was on. Leave it on there. Because that is what's going to die down, go back into the bulb, and then that is what the bulb feeds off to get flowers for next year. So that's some transplanting you can do. Weeding and maintenance. So any winter bedding that you've got, like pansies, violas, primroses, keep deadheading them all the time because they will just keep coming all winter. You can also remove your hellebore leaves. So hellebores are coming through now. They're 2 or 3 inches out of the ground. If you've got a south-facing garden, they're probably up and they're flowering already. So what you do is you take off all the old leaves that look really kind of not so good, especially if they've got spots on them, which is chocolate spot. That can be a fungal disease. Take them off, let the flowers come up, then the new leaves for this year will come up as well. You can prune your wisteria at this time of year. I don't have a wisteria to show you how to prune it, but you can prune your wisteria. The other thing you can also start doing is pruning your roses this time of year as well. I kind of do mine in February, really, but I mean, today I was weeding a bed and there was a rose and I pruned it back. So you can start doing it now. Water and feeding. If you've got any flowering shrubs like the winter honeysuckle or the sarcococca, I've got one in my garden and it's looking a little bit yellow, so I need to give it a feed. And also my Daphne, which is about to flower, it's a little bit yellow as well. I'm going to give it a feed as well. And like I said, any forced bulbs that you've put into the garden, you can give them a feed. And the last thing to remember for Flowers Day, we didn't even talk about any of the flowering edibles. So if you do have any flowering edibles like cauliflowers or broccoli, calabrese at all, just check on them. If you've got them in the garden or on the allotment, check on them. Take off any old leaves that are falling to the ground or any old leaves that you think the slugs and snails are going to attack. Check on them. If you've got them, as I've got them in little pots, mine are about this big now. Keep checking on them as well. I gave mine a little feed the other day, just with a multi-purpose feed, and they're just not big enough yet to go out. And I'm not sowing anything of those until next month. And the last thing to check on Flowers Day is check your dahlias if you've got them in store. Go and have a look and see if anything's rotting, if anything is moldy as well, and just check your dahlias. That's an important thing. Right, so Tuesday the 16th of January is Leaves Day, and that means that I'm going to be sowing my last lot of leaves for the year. So I'm going to be doing a few more lettuce, of course, which I always do. I am going to be doing my favorite Navara. I'm going to be sowing 20 of those. I'm going to be sowing Grenoble, which is another beautiful lettuce as well. I'm going to be doing 15 of those. Maravilla de Verano Canasta, I'm going to be doing 10 of those. If you want to have a look at the varieties that I grow, have a look at what I'm sowing in January, because I show you all the seed varieties that I'm growing in January. I'm doing some Lolo Rossa. I'm going to be doing 10 of those, and I'm going to be doing the green Lolo, which is called Riccia. I'm going to be doing 15 of those as well. The other thing I'm also going to do is I'm going to do some more red stem pak choi. So I'm going to be doing 20 of those because I just absolutely love it. And I want to get as much Asian greens as I possibly can into us before the warm weather starts, because they will start to go to seed. And then that's kind of the end of the Asian greens for us, because then we have other interesting things in the summer. Transplant. So if you've got any leaf seedlings, you know, like any kind of lettuce, any kind of Asian greens, any brassicas like kales, if you've got anything that needs to be transplanted either into a bigger pot or actually out into the garden, you can do that. I have some hispy cabbage, I've mentioned this before, and it needs to be planted on the allotment, but because the weather was going really cold this week, I've left it, and I will be planting those out maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. I've got a little polytunnel over at the allotment, and I will put them under, make sure they're under cover. Weeding and maintenance. So I have got the greens that I've got, and the leaves that I've got is kale. So I'll be checking all my kale beds, my Asian green beds as well. And in the veggie pods, I've got Asian greens. I'll be checking all of those. Parsley. I've got 2 big bunches of parsley in the garden here at home. I've got some Italian flat leaf parsley, and I've also got some French curly parsley. I'll just be taking off all the old leaves and just making sure they're okay. I've also got parsley in the greenhouse, so I'll just be checking on that in pots as well. So other herbs you can be getting on with is fennel. I've got the dark and the green fennel. So that's a perennial here in the UK. I'll just check it. I might even pot it on. I'll just have a look. I've got them in pots and just check take off old leaves. The other thing that you can also be checking is lovage. Now lovage should be completely gone because it is a perennial. So anything that's around the ground area before it starts sprouting again, just take out weeds, so that the slugs and snails are not hanging around. And the other thing that is also termed a leaf on the Moonphase calendar is rhubarb. So I need to just have a look. I've got 2 lots of rhubarb. I've got some here at home in the kitchen garden, and I've got some on the allotment as well. And I will just be checking all my rhubarb, and I might even force the ones that I've got here at home, which means that I just put a pot over the top of it, exclude any light, and then that becomes what they call champagne rhubarb, and it blanches. So I will be doing that. Water and feeding, any seedlings that I've got that just need a little bit of feed and a little bit of water, I will be doing that. And that is Tuesday, the 16th of January. Wednesday, the 17th of January, is an unfavourable day. So that means that it's, again, tidy up day for me. So I don't do anything specific with any plants at all. It's just a big tidy up day. Lots of sweeping, lots of general, weeding if I need to weed, and that's what I do on my unfavourable days. Right, Thursday the 18th and Friday the 19th of January are both fruits days again. So I will be sowing nothing on fruits days, but because all of my fruits at the moment are sown and they're doing well, and they are broad beans, peas, peppers and chilies. Now, if you want to do some peppers and chilies, crack on and do it on the pre-germination. Have a look at my video for peppers and chilies and how I do it. And you can do them on the pre-germinated way that I do it on the kitchen towel. It's very, very quick. It works very, very well. You can do it whatever you want to do it. But if you want peppers this year and chilies this year and really, really good yields, you need to crack on and do it. Don't worry about heat and about light, because Even though I have all of that, you don't need it. All you need to do to get these seeds to germinate on the kitchen towel, you just need this container to be somewhere warm. So either on a radiator or on a shelf above a radiator, on a hot water bottle, anything, just to keep it warm. Once you've got them germinated and then you plant them out into your pots of compost, don't worry about it. Just put them in a sunny position and in a warm room, and everything should be fine. They'll just tick along. So that's the sowing. You can also do your peas if you want to as well. Mine are now done. I'm all set for peas for the moment until my next lot of sowings. And you can put some broad beans in as well if you want to. Weeding and maintenance. Okay, so for fruits, at this time of year, you can prune any grapevines if you've got a grapevine. I've got one outside, so I'll do a little video of how I prune my grapevine. You can also cut down all your autumn or your autumn fruiting raspberries. They can all be cut down. And you can also tidy any strawberries, any old leaves of the strawberries as well. You can tidy them up as well. It's a good time of year to prune any black currants. I'll be doing a video of how I do that as well. And also just tidying up gooseberries. And gooseberries like to grow with like a goblet shape, a little bit like an apple tree. They like to not be congested in the center. So again, it's just a pruning thing with gooseberries. Water and feeding, just checking my citrus again. I didn't get to feed all of my citrus, so I will continue doing that. And the last thing is, if you've got squash or pumpkins in store, check them, because they will be quickly going off if there's anything wrong with them. So that's your fruits days. And then Saturday the 20th and Sunday the 21st of January are back to roots days. And I will be sowing again. I'm going to be sowing some more, I'm going to use them as spring onions, but because they're bulbing onions, they can then just sit in the ground and bulb up if I want to. And so I'm going to be doing some North Holland Blood Red again. I'm going to be doing 20 of those, but 4 per cell. So I'm going to multi-sow. Exactly the same amount of the Lilia, which is another red one. It's a beautiful onion. And I'm also going to do exactly the same amount of Stouron. Now, Stouron is always usually grown as a bulbing onion, but I will be doing those and I'll be eating them as spring onions. And then if I don't eat them all, they can then bulb out. Then I'm also going to do a couple of sowings of a summer leek. I usually start my main crop leeks, winter leeks, in kind of, March, April. But we do like summer leeks as well. So I'm going to be doing 2 9-centimeter pots like this. And I am going to be sowing 20 in each pot. So the other thing I might also do is I might do some more beetroot, but I'm going to do some bull's blood beetroot. They're used mainly for leaves, but also the roots are quite nice. And I'll also do some albina beetroot as well. Again, mainly for leaves, but the roots are quite nice. You can eat them really, really small. Transplanting, I've still got spring onions that I'm kind of dotting around wherever I can find room. So I will be putting those in as I find room. Weeding and maintenance, I'm going to be checking on my winter radish, on my turnips in the veggie pod, on my carrots that I've got in the greenhouse, and the leeks that I've got as well. So I'll be checking on those. And water and feeding, just mainly seedlings. So that's that. So yes, that is the week. The videos are starting to get long again. So what I'm going to do is, I think from next week, I'll see what comes up in the Moonphase gardening's schedule. But if there's a lot to do, and especially now that I'm adding all the ornamentals as well, I might start to divide the week in half again, like I did when I first started back at the end of summer. So I will be doing Monday to Wednesday and then Thursday to Sunday. but I'll see how we go. It's just that this is quite a long video to take in and watch, but you can watch it again and again, obviously. So that's it. That is your week. That is what I'm going to be trying to do. I'll try to do some of it, maybe not all of it, but maybe some of it, because I also have to work. And I will see you again next Sunday. I'm Susie B from Susie B Living. If you subscribe, then you will get these updates, and you can grow along with me this year. The way that I work with the Moonphase gardening, it never overwhelms you. It's very easy, because you only have to worry about one particular category of plant, fruits, leaves, whatever. And it's pretty simple, and you get very organized because you just do a little bit at certain times. So, thumbs up. That's nice. I will see you again. Bye.